The night was supposed to be ordinary. A young woman, full of life, walked into the gymnasium of St. Andrew's Cathedral School, unaware that she would never walk out again. What happened next was unspeakable. A brutal murder that left an entire community in shock. Lily James was more than a victim. She was a daughter, a sister, a friend, and a promising young woman with dreams ahead of her. But in just a matter of hours, those dreams were crushed in an act of calculated violence. A man she once trusted, Paul Tyson, turned into her executioner. What drove him to such a monstrous act? Was it a moment of rage, or was it something much darker, something premeditated? As investigators pieced together the final moments of Lily's life, they uncovered a web of obsession, manipulation, and chilling deceit. But the biggest question remains: could it have been prevented? And what really happened in those final moments behind the closed doors of that gym? The answers lie in this documentary. Welcome to the Crime Series. I'm glad to have you join us on another video. Kindly subscribe, like, and share. Let me know where you are watching from. Lily James was born in May 2002 to Jamie and Peta James in the coastal suburb of Sans Souci, New South Wales. Growing up in a supportive and loving household, she was raised with strong values of kindness, dedication, and perseverance. From a young age, Lily demonstrated a natural affinity for sports, excelling in various disciplines but finding her true passion in water polo. Her enthusiasm and competitive spirit made her a standout athlete, earning her respect among teammates and coaches alike. At school, Lily was a bright and diligent student, eager to take on challenges and expand her horizons. She attended Danebank Anglican School for Girls in Hurstville, where she was known for her academic excellence and active participation in extracurricular activities. Lily's vibrant personality and genuine care for others made her a popular figure among peers and teachers, forging lasting friendships that remained strong throughout her life. Beyond her athletic pursuits, Lily had a deep love for the arts and performance. She participated in school theater productions, as evidenced by her captivating performance of Macbeth for her HSC drama major work. Her confidence and ability to express herself through acting further showcased her multifaceted talents. After graduating from high school in 2020, Lily pursued a degree in sports business at the University of Technology, Sydney. Her goal was to carve a career in the sports industry, combining her passion for athletics with business acumen. While studying, she worked part-time as a water polo coach at St. Andrew's Cathedral School, where she became a role model for young athletes. Her dedication and warmth left a lasting impression on her students, who admired her both as a coach and as a person. Lily's life was full of promise, and she had dreams of traveling, growing professionally, and making a positive impact in the sports world. This were her ambitions until she met Paul Tyson. Born in the Netherlands, Paul Tyson spent his early years in a supportive family environment with a strong emphasis on discipline and academic excellence. His parents, both highly educated professionals, instilled in him the importance of success and achievement. As a teenager, Paul was known for his athletic abilities, excelling in both hockey and cricket. His move to Australia marked a new chapter in his life. Enrolling at St. Andrew's Cathedral School, he quickly established himself as a star athlete and a respected student leader. Teachers and peers regarded him as disciplined, charismatic, and ambitious. His dedication to sports earned him a leadership role, and he seemed destined for a bright future. After graduating in 2017, Paul briefly returned to the Netherlands for higher education, but eventually made his way back to Sydney in 2020. He resumed his association with St. Andrew's Cathedral School, taking on the role of an assistant sports coach, working closely with students. From the outside, he appeared to be a dedicated mentor and role model, but those who interacted with him regularly noticed an unsettling intensity in his demeanor. Lily James and Paul Tyson first met in the bustling environment of St. Andrew's Cathedral School, where both were employed as sports coaches. Lily, a dedicated water polo coach, was well known for her passion for the sport and her easygoing nature with students and colleagues. Paul, in his role as a hockey and cricket coach, had been part of the school's athletic department for years and was respected for his knowledge of the game. Their professional interactions initially revolved around shared responsibilities, mutual coaching sessions, and occasional faculty meetings. As they continued working together, casual conversations turned into longer discussions about their interests and life outside of work. Both were young, ambitious, and dedicated to their respective sports, finding common ground in their passion for coaching. Lily, always cheerful and open-hearted, saw Paul as a friendly and engaging colleague, someone who shared her enthusiasm for sports. Paul, on the other hand, seemed drawn to Lily's charisma and warmth. Their relationship took a turn when they began spending more time together outside of work. For Lily, the relationship was lighthearted and fun, a brief romance rather than something serious. She believed it was a mutual understanding that their relationship was casual and unburdened by expectations. However, beneath the surface, there were subtle signs that things were not as they seemed. While Lily remained relaxed about their relationship, Paul appeared more invested than he let on. He would frequently check in on her whereabouts, sometimes showing up unexpectedly at places she mentioned visiting. Initially, Lily brushed off these behaviors as signs of attentiveness, but close friends later recounted how they sensed a possessive edge to his interest. His affection, once charming, began bordering on obsessive. Despite these subtle warning signs, their relationship continued for several weeks, fueled by their shared environment and the ease of seeing each other daily. However, as time went on, Lily started to feel the weight of Paul's expectations. Her once clear boundaries became a source of tension. Paul, who had always appeared composed and reserved, started exhibiting behavior that hinted at his unwillingness to accept the casual nature of their relationship. He would question her about minor things, his demeanor occasionally shifting to one of quiet frustration. By the 5th week, Lily decided to end things. She did so gently, believing that they both understood the importance of their relationship. She reassured him that they could remain friends and continue working together without issue. Paul seemed to accept her decision at first, giving no immediate indication of distress. She continued working at St. Andrew's Cathedral School, where both she and Paul were employed, unaware that his anger over the breakup had reached a boiling point. October 25, 2023, seemed like any other day for Lily James. She woke up early, prepared for the day ahead, and left her family home in Sans Souci with no idea that it would be her last morning alive. Her day started with routine training sessions, interactions with students, and planning for future matches. However, unbeknownst to her, Paul Tyson had spent the day meticulously preparing for what he was about to do. As the school day ended, Lily prepared for an evening training session. CCTV footage captured her moving around the gymnasium, speaking to colleagues and students as usual. At around 7 p.m., she entered the gymnasium bathroom to change.
As we go into the most intense part of this video, kindly like and subscribe to this channel. It gives me motivation to create more videos. If you love this video and wish to see more, kindly subscribe.
Moments later, Tyson was seen following her in. It was the last time she would be seen alive. What happened inside the bathroom remains known only to forensic investigators and those who analyze the crime scene. It is believed that Tyson confronted Lily about their breakup, possibly hoping to manipulate her into reconsidering. When she refused or reacted unfavorably, his emotions escalated into uncontrollable rage. The forensic evidence later revealed that she had suffered multiple blows to the head, indicative of a brutal and unrelenting attack. The murder was not an act of impulse, but rather premeditated, as shown by his choice of weapon and method. At approximately 8 p.m., Tyson emerged alone from the gymnasium bathroom. He was seen on CCTV exiting the school premises in his car. Lily's father, James, received chilling text messages from his daughter's phone shortly before police were notified. The texts urged him to come pick her up from the school immediately, but they were later revealed to have been sent by Tyson himself in an attempt to mislead the timeline of events. By the time Jamie arrived, the school was already a crime scene, and his worst fears were realized. The school was shut down, students and staff were evacuated, and an extensive search for Tyson began. Meanwhile, Lily's friends were left in shock, struggling to comprehend the horror that had unfolded within the walls of a place that was supposed to be safe. The manhunt begins. Tyson was nowhere to be found. He had called the police himself, tipping them off before disappearing into the night. This added a chilling layer of mystery to an already shocking crime. Authorities initially believed he may have fled Sydney altogether, but digital forensics and surveillance footage painted a different picture. Investigators rapidly worked to piece together his movements following the brutal killing of Lily James. CCTV cameras captured him leaving the school premises in a hurried but controlled manner. His car was later traced to Diamond Bay Reserve, a remote and rugged cliffside area known for its dangerous drops. As police combed through the location, they discovered personal items linked to Tyson: his backpack, discarded clothing, and most disturbingly, a hammer believed to be the murder weapon. A sense of urgency gripped law enforcement. The discovery of these items suggested two possibilities. Either Tyson had taken his own life, or he was still on the run. Police launched a multi-agency operation, deploying helicopters, boats, and search teams along the coastline, scanning both land and sea for any trace of him. Witnesses in the area reported seeing a man matching his description walking alone towards the cliffs late at night, adding weight to the theory that he may have jumped. Forensic teams meticulously examined the discarded items, hoping to find additional clues that might clarify his final moments. Phone records indicated that he had made a series of brief, frantic calls before switching off his device. This suggested he may have been contemplating his next move, or perhaps seeking a way to delay the inevitable. As the manhunt intensified, police sought assistance from the public, urging anyone with information to come forward. Meanwhile, Lily's grieving family and the shocked community waited anxiously for updates, desperate for closure. At approximately 9 a.m. on October 27th, police units, along with search and rescue teams, scoured the Diamond Bay Reserve area. Drones and police helicopters provided aerial surveillance while ground teams combed through the cliffs, looking for any signs of Tyson. Suspicion deepened when they located a carefully placed backpack containing his identification documents, a mobile phone, and what appeared to be farewell notes. Rescue personnel, accompanied by divers and marine police, turned their focus to the turbulent waters below the cliffs. The dangerous conditions of the jagged rocks and unpredictable ocean currents made the search particularly challenging. Around noon, a group of construction workers on a nearby site alerted authorities to an unidentifiable object caught between the rocks at the base of the cliff. With their tip, police and emergency teams moved swiftly to recover what was soon confirmed as a lifeless body. At approximately 12:15 p.m., the rescue unit retrieved the corpse using specialized extraction equipment, carefully transporting it to a forensic tent set up at the scene. Initial observations by forensic experts suggested that Tyson had suffered multiple blunt force injuries consistent with a fall from a great height. His body was formally identified through fingerprint analysis, cross-referenced with records obtained from the Netherlands embassy. The revelation of Tyson's death sent waves of mixed emotions through the investigative team and the grieving family of Lily James. For the authorities, the case was effectively closed, yet many pressing questions remained unanswered. What had Tyson done in the crucial 2-hour window between leaving the school and calling emergency services? Had he been contemplating his actions, or was his final act a desperate bid to escape the consequences of his crime? Investigators meticulously reconstructed his last movements, tracing his steps from St. Andrew's Cathedral School to Diamond Bay Reserve. CCTV footage captured his arrival at the cliffside around 10 p.m. on October 25th. His car, a silver Lexus, was parked at an inconspicuous spot near the reserve entrance. He appeared calm, walking towards the cliffs with no apparent hesitation. However, the timeline between this moment and his call to authorities remained void, leaving experts to speculate whether he had spent those hours in contemplation, writing his final words, or disposing of further evidence. Forensic teams continued to analyze the items recovered from the scene, hoping to extract further insights into his mindset leading up to the murder and his subsequent demise. Psychologists weighed in, suggesting that Tyson's final act was indicative of a classic case of an individual unable to cope with the repercussions of their own actions. The calculated nature of his crime, followed by the apparent inevitability of his suicide, painted a chilling portrait of a man driven by a toxic mix of control, rejection, and ultimate despair. Further investigation into his past revealed troubling patterns of behavior that suggested his violent outburst was not an isolated incident, but rather the culmination of deep-seated psychological issues. Experts analyzed testimonies from past acquaintances, ex-girlfriends, and colleagues, many of whom described Tyson as highly controlling, obsessive, and emotionally volatile. A former partner of Tyson came forward with disturbing revelations about his behavior in previous relationships. She recounted how he would insist on knowing her whereabouts at all times, constantly demanding access to her social media and personal messages. When she tried to distance herself, his behavior became erratic, ranging from excessive pleading to bursts of anger. One chilling account described how he once punched a tree in frustration, later admitting that he had wanted to strike her instead. Friends and colleagues also noted his intense need for validation and dominance in both personal and professional settings. As a coach at St. Andrew's Cathedral School, Tyson was respected for his knowledge of the game, but some noticed his inability to handle criticism or setbacks. Any perceived slight, whether from a student, colleague, or superior, would send him into periods of brooding resentment. Forensic psychologist Dr. Peter Ashgar later posthumously assessed Tyson's psychological profile, concluding that he likely suffered from narcissistic personality disorder, NPD. This disorder is characterized by an excessive need for admiration, a lack of empathy, and an inability to handle rejection. According to Dr. Ashgar, the rejection from Lily James may have triggered what is known as narcissistic injury, a psychological wound that shatters a narcissist's self-image and often results in extreme rage. Consequences of unchecked possessiveness and control in relationships. Lily's parents, Jamie and Peter James, struggled to process the unimaginable loss of their daughter. The shock of her brutal murder left them devastated, grappling with an overwhelming sense of injustice. Jamie, a devoted father, had always been protective of Lily, and Peter, her mother, had shared an unbreakable bond with her only daughter. Their grief was compounded by the knowledge that Lily had trusted the man who ultimately took her life. In the days following her murder, the James family received an outpouring of support from friends, the community, and strangers alike. Flowers and tributes lined the entrance of St. Andrew's Cathedral School and their home in Sans Souci. But no amount of condolences could fill the void left in their lives. The family struggled with the chilling reality that the man who had taken Lily's life had so quickly and deliberately ended his own, leaving them without answers, without a chance to confront him, and without justice. Speaking to the media, Jamie James did not hold back his emotions. He described Tyson as a monster and made it clear that forgiveness was impossible. "He can rot in hell," he stated bluntly, his words echoing the depths of his pain. Lily's loved ones eventually sought justice through awareness. The tragedy of her murder struck a nerve across Australia, reigniting conversations about intimate partner violence and the need for systemic reform. In the wake of her death, Lily's friends and family refused to let her memory be overshadowed by the crime. Instead, they turned their pain into a fight for accountability and prevention. A GoFundMe was launched to support the James family and help fund initiatives aimed at preventing similar tragedies. The campaign received overwhelming support, raising thousands of dollars in a matter of days. The funds were used not just to assist the grieving family, but also to support organizations dedicated to combating domestic violence and providing resources for young women in potentially dangerous relationships. The James family began working closely with advocacy groups, sharing Lily's story as a powerful warning about the dangers of unchecked possessiveness and coercive control. Peter James, despite her ongoing health battle, spoke publicly about the importance of early intervention and education on toxic relationship behaviors. Jamie James, still raw with grief, focused on legislative advocacy, calling for stronger protections for victims of intimate partner violence.